Podcast City Network.
Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to the Everett Lee Show. A shot of entertainment to the head. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the entertainment.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Everett Lee Show podcast. I am the Everett Lee. Just trying to set my phone up here. I want to give a quick shout out to everyone that follows me on Twitter. You can follow me at the Everett _Lee, Facebook.com/Everett Lee. Click that thumbs up. And, of course, Podcast City Network, the official host of the Everett Lee Show. Before I get on to my guest, I want to give a happy birthday, shout out to a happy birthday to Hardcore Heather Owens on this night here. Happy birthday, Heather, and hope you're enjoying it. And tonight, I'd like to welcome to the program tonight here on the Everett Lee Show. I want to welcome my guest, not one, two guests, the Gold Rush Solomon Stone and the modern day shaman, Garrett Adams. How you gentlemen doing tonight here?
Fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm great. Trying to keep warm. Trying to keep warm here.
Good to hear that you're doing all right over there too, buddy.
Yeah. Kind of funny you should ask after the last time we saw each other.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes you just got to watch your back, but hey. Friends fight sometimes, you know, but whatever. We're past it.
Yeah. Speaking of the last time you guys fought, I did catch that fatal four-way for the number one contendership for the hardcore title for the promotion EHF. That was a good match between all four of the opponents there.
You know, it was a fun time. Garrett did win. I was a little cheated, I'm not going to lie, but hands off to Garrett for winning the number one contendership.
It was a lot of fun right up until the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's that back feeling? Pretty good?
Yeah. Feeling a lot better.
Just rub some Vicks on it. You'll be okay.
I got my special herbs at by bulbs.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah, that was an intense match there. I mean, you guys pulled everything out there, and Garrett, you won with submission there, and that was great. And just I didn't know who was going to win that match, but I loved it. I enjoyed it. I looked up you guys on YouTube looking for matches. Solomon, you got more current stuff up on YouTube, and Garrett, I noticed that Fatal 4-Way was the only match that was like current, up to date. There's stuff on there I've noticed that was dated back 3 years, but still great matches, man. You guys are great. You tear it up in the ring, and I love what you guys do.
Well, thank you very much.
Appreciate it. I'm not sure why that's the case. We've been working. He's just coming back off an injury now, but we were working every weekend for the last year. I'll make sure I get you my YouTube info so you can check it out better.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you got to update that app, Garrett.
It's hard when I'm in the woods all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Doing shaman stuff, right?
Exactly.
And speaking of being out in the woods and having matches, amazing Fatal 4-Way matches for number one contenderships for titles. I'm going to ask Solomon this first, and then Garrett follow up with it. At what age did you get into wrestling?
Ooh, Well, I was a young little boy. I want to say roughly about 8 years old. I want to say, give or take. But I mean, honestly, the thing that caught me, and I'll never forget this, is flipping through the channels at Grandma's house, and I saw Lord Steven Regal on WCW Saturday night, and I was hooked.
Nice. Nice.
I was probably 5 or 6. Some of my earliest memories were staying up real late and hiding from my parents to watch Saturday night's main event back in the day on my old Rabbit Ears channel and my Rabbit Ears TV in my bedroom. And one of my friends introduced me. I was probably in 8th grade, and he introduced me to WCW, the old Power Hour on Saturday mornings when I would spend the night, hang out for the weekend like you do when you're a kid. That's what they watched.
Nice. I want to add that, yeah, my dad would let me stay up late and watch primetime wrestling on Tuesdays. He'd let me stay up late. That would be the only day of the week I would get to stay up, and I'd get to watch, and I'd watch great, amazing matches and hear Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan go at it back and forth. Just great moments, great times.
Two of the best.
Yes, two of the best. Definitely two of the best. Now, Garrett, when did you decide that you wanted to get into wrestling? When did you decide that? And then you can follow that up there, Solomon.
I was probably 15 or 16 when I decided like that was something I really wanted to do, and really started trying to figure out like how you go about doing it.
Okay.
So yeah, probably about 15, 16, I'd say.
Okay. About 15, 16. What about you, Solomon?
I mean, it's something that, obviously as a kid, that's like, hey, I want to do that. That's what I want to be when I grow up. But when I kind of really started thinking about doing it was, God, I want to say maybe right after high school, maybe a couple years after. Had to get all that, crazy partying out of the way and stuff like that. And then, I want to say early 20s probably at the latest.
Nice. Where did you get trained at, Solomon? Where did you decide? Where did you go get trained at to get your training at?
Well, I actually started at two different places. The first place I actually originally started training at, if you want to kind of call that training, but it was in Davenport, Iowa. Just kind of found this flyer. I think it was at some like local restaurant. It was just some local flyer for like wrestling show. So I contacted them via Facebook and was just like, hey, I want to train, and started training. But whoever the guy was that, was running the show there, he was on the road a lot. So it was kind of basic, hitting the ropes, bumps and stuff like that. Nothing too crazy.
Right.
And then, I think it was a couple years later, I moved down to Florida and started training with Tony Devlin down in DWI, based out of Ruskin, Florida.
Okay.
The DWI Academy of Wrestling Sciences. Let's give a shout out. That was DWI was one of my stops along my long route, and that's actually where we met, me and Solomon.
Yeah.
So
that's where the
wonderful promotion, wonderful trainer.
Yes, absolutely.
Nice. Where did you get trained at too, Garrett?
I got trained, I'm going to date myself here. I got trained back in 99 by a gentleman who I'm sure was a shyster and some sort of carny scam artist named Mad Mike Smith, who gave me who gave all of us that went to the place he trained us at. It was an old abandoned rubber factory, like conference room thing. And it was a real rickety old ring, but he gave us like a real 70s style training, lots of running the ropes, lots of hitting the turnbuckles, bumping till we couldn't breathe anymore, and all the basics, and how to take some basic moves, and then it was helping us, get booked. And then had some life issues. I we'll say skills of a misspent youth put me in a position where I needed to be in the military. So I kind of stepped away for a while and joined the military, but had the opportunity to start getting back into it while I was in, and started working with and was mentored by a lot of good Southern talent. I worked with like Logan Creed. He just signed with World Wrestling Network, or MLW. Sorry, he just signed with MLW. Tag teams like the Gentlemen's Club and the late Cameron LaRue, Dallas Riley, and the PlayStation Players. I just started working everywhere, and we just all worked together, and we all trained together and worked out together before shows, and they filled in all my blanks for me.
Nice. Now, promotions after you got your training and after going out, what are some of the promotions that you worked for, Solomon? I'll start with you.
Well, back like when I was talking about the 2011 training originally, they kind of threw me, like my first ever matches that I had were actually kind of sweet. Actually, I had 2 war game style matches, like first ever matches I've ever had. And I even forgot the promotions out there, but when I moved down to Florida, that's kind of really when things started, kind of taking off. I worked for obviously DWI, where I trained out of ACW, which is in Newport Richey, Florida, Real Pro, EHF here out of South Bend, Indiana, Pure Pro Wrestling based out of Flint. This is kind of a small handful of the name, but there's plenty of them promotions out there that I've worked for. Nice.
And what about you, Garrett? What promotions have you worked for?
I'm pretty sure between the years of 2003, we'll say, and 2009, I worked for every medium to tiny level indie show between Atlanta and Miami. I can't even remember all the places. We did a Friday to Sunday loop every weekend for 4 or 5 years. Since I've been up here for the last few years, we've worked EHF, GLWA, Pro Wrestling King, HPW, New Breed Wrestling, and I know I'm forgetting somebody, but I can't remember. I get hit in the head a lot.
Wow, you guys have pretty much been all over the place, and you pretty much worked for a lot of promotions, and you guys worked with, and you've even tagged in matches together. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, you want
to take a little bit of that?
Yeah, I mean, sure, go ahead. Let's hear it.
It's funny, when we met in DWI down in Florida, I was the only guy wearing I wore war paint, and I use black and red as my color scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And I see this guy, big muscle-bound guy, looking all like Jack, looking like $1 million in black and red, putting on black and red war paint.
Nice.
And I walked right over to his. I'd never seen him before in my life, and I walked right over to him and was like, "We either need to tag together or fight each other."
That's how I remember it, Garrett.
And then we both ended up in Michigan a couple years later, and we hit the road.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now we're all over the place.
Yeah. I believe your exact words were, "Let's see how much we can work."
Right, yeah.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. So you pretty much traveled together, and you've worked a lot of places together. Now, tell me about winning the tag team titles. I was looking at your Facebook there, Solomon, and or I believe it was you, Garrett, that one of you got the other person to help you win the tag titles. What I like to hear about that right there, because I find it interesting, and I love the picture. I'm using it right here with the both of you with the tag titles, with you Solomon with the money, and then just the look with you Garrett. It's fantastic. I love that picture. I had to use that picture there. But I like to hear that right there.
We'll circle back to how he said he wanted to see how much we could work.
Uh-huh.
So he told me that.
Right.
And then I filled our calendar, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, the whole works, for like the next 8 months. And then he wrestled Gideon Malice for the Michigan heavyweight title and exploded his knee.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad.
And I was left with a calendar of tag dates that I needed to fill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't miss dates. I've missed 3 shows in my entire career.
Right.
So I don't miss dates. And a lot of the places we had been booked at had planned on building stables or factions using us.
Uh-huh.
So they just gave me tag team partners until he was healthy that were, going to be in those stables to fill in for him.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, at GLWA, we did that, but because it's indie wrestling, people, don't show up. They're not reliable. And we had a revolving door of people to a degree in this one group that they wanted us in. And when he was finally healthy, I was like, it's me and him. He's my partner.
Your boy is back.
Yep. He came back, and he helped us win the tag team titles, and then we successfully defended them the next month.
Nice.
See, the thing about that injury, though, dude, I was supposed to be out for at least a year and then get surgery, too. So, because I had a complete PCL tear and shredded knee cartilage. My knee was toast.
Oh,
and
damn.
I just started rehabbing it and taking a little bit of collagen here. Got a special brace made, and dude, it's magically good to go somehow.
If you don't mind me asking, how'd you injure your leg there?
Like Garrett was saying, I was in the match with Pure Pro Wrestling versus Gideon Malice, and I don't know, for some crazy reason, this move is never in my arsenal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I body slam Gideon or whatever, and for some reason I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go do that Bret Hart elbow smash off the second rope. So I go up there and do my thing with my hands, like Bret Hart does.
Uh-huh.
Go for the elbow smash, hit it. Match continues on, right? I'm fine. I don't feel anything.
Right.
So then I got about an hour and a half car ride home. Finally get home. The minute I get out of the car, I'm like, holy crap. I can barely walk. And my knee, I could tell it was toast right there. So, whatever, it's kind of sore. And then, dude, weeks went on and it just kept getting worse and worse. And then finally I went and got an MRI and yeah, your knee is pretty bad. You got a PCL tear and all this other stuff. So yeah, long story short, don't ever do moves that you never do.
So you pretty much worked the match, kind of like.
That's why even though I love him, that story makes me laugh.
Yeah, it wasn't so funny past 6 months, but I mean it's funny now, definitely. But sitting here mocking Bret Hart, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, and I explode my knee. So lesson learned.
Well, at least you didn't try doing a Stone Cold Stunner on the concrete.
Right? I almost did that, what was that? Moonsault or whatever that Brock Lesnar did. I was going to do that, but
oh God,
decided not to.
I don't know how he survived that, man. Him and freaking Kurt Angle. That was one of my favorite matches on that card there for WrestleMania.
Oh, she's a great match.
It was.
It really was. And he really
actually that entire WrestleMania was off the chain.
It was top to bottom. I'm trying to remember some of the other ones. I forget which one it is. I've seen so many WrestleManias. You've seen so many WrestleManias, and you kind of like forget, and you have to go back and look and stuff. Yeah. That's what I remember that out of that match right there. That was just insane, man. That was just insane. But
in fact, he finished it completely unconscious, moving.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch that go pit and pay attention to his face, he's clueless. Angle walks him through the rest of that match. The fact he kept going is ridiculous.
Yeah. That was. It's like the lights are on, but no one was home, kind of deal.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, and also getting
kind of like at my house, that's probably why my electric bill is so damn high.
So pretty much like Triple H when he had that tag match when he was going up against Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho, when him and Austin, remember when he tore his...
Whoa. Did you say Chris Benoit?
Yes, I did. I
don't think we're allowed to talk about that. Are we? We're allowed to bring up that name?
Yeah. I mean,
I think so.
Look.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? I mean, look at his body of work. What Chris Benoit.
Rabid Wolverine. Come on, dude.
Yeah, he was my little brother. He was one of his favorites right there, the Rabid Wolverine. And my dad, God rest his soul, I grew up watching wrestling with him, man. I remember sitting in the living room watching this man cuss and yell at the TV because Ric Flair was on TV and he wanted Dusty Rhodes to kick his ass.
He's one of the... Chris Benoit's one of the people, to this day, Chris Benoit's one of the people I model how I sell some stuff. Like, based on how I remember seeing him sell stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The guy still used him as a model of... He was great.
He was. I mean, just the way he worked in the ring and stuff, man. He was tough. He put on some great matches. He did, man. He did. He lost a freaking tooth, and I loved how they did that. The toothless aggression, I love that. I love that, man. That was good merchandise, marketing right there, man. Because remember the shirts.
Yeah. The hillbillies loved that one for sure.
Since we're talking about wrestlers, before I ask, what's that?
I said hillbillies. Oh, you mean wrestlers?
Wrestlers, yeah. Since we're talking about wrestlers and we brought up matches, let me ask you. I'll start with you, Garrett, and then Solomon. Favorite match in WWE to watch, or just favorite match in general?
WWE. Anything with Benoit, but in wrestling in general, anything with Regal. I could watch Regal all day.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. He's definitely top on the list for sure. I mean, are you getting in specific matches? Because I got like 3 that I probably have that are my favorites.
Okay. What match could you go back and always watch and always enjoy and never get tired of watching?
Dude, that's a tough one, man.
Yeah.
Brett versus Davey at Wembley, SummerSlam.
Oh,
that's a good one.
That was
especially if you've read Bret Hart's biography.
Yeah, it wasn't Davey Boy all.
Yeah, if you know all that, and then you go back and watch it, the match is like 1,000 times better because you're like, wow.
Oh yeah,
Bret Hart really is a master.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Davey Boy was all
honestly though. Yeah, dude. Dude, that is a tough question. Like, cause dude, one of the matches I can go back and watch a million times is Eddie versus Brock. Dude, hands down, that is an awesome match, especially like Eddie Guerrero. Come on, dude.
No Way Out.
Yeah, dude, it's freaking awesome, man.
I own that DVD.
Dude, it's
Cheap plug and dig. I can go back and watch us beating the Thieves all day. Just gonna throw that out there. That's right.
Which one?
On us beating the Thieves for the title. I could watch that all day.
Yeah,
The look on their faces. It was beautiful.
It was priceless. They had no idea what was coming. But yeah, I mean, I'd say probably hands down that match. I mean, the tie up between that and Taker and HBK WrestleMania 25 for sure.
That was a great one there. The 25 with Taker and Michaels. I mean, yeah, that's I loved what they did in that match. I loved it.
Dude, masterpiece.
Yeah.
Not Chris Masters.
Flair versus HBK. Flair versus HBK. That's another one you can watch back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What about the Iron Man match with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels? That's
dude. That's a good one too.
Yeah.
Dude, can you imagine like what 10-year-old kid would watch that entire match without like taking a break or getting distracted? Like that was me. I ordered that pay-per-view. Like, dude, I begged my mom to order that. Like, I don't remember what I said to her. I think I told her I'd clean the house for like a month straight, but she got the pay-per-view for me, and I watched the entire thing.
Nice.
I come from my Viking ways, honestly. We had the box, so, I remember watching. I don't think I even took a bathroom break during that match at like 12 or 13.
Wow.
No.
Drinking soda all night with my friends. I don't even think I ran to the bathroom. I was glued.
Wow. I would have to say one other match that I really liked. If you looked at Monday Night Raw, Undertaker versus Jeff Hardy in that ladder match right there. That was something right there. I was sitting there watching it with my dad and my little brother, and we were just glued to it because also the Jeff Hardy was my little brother's favorite. While we're watching it, he was pulling for him, and it was just a great match, a great ladder match. I enjoyed.
Did your brother wear the little arm sleeves?
He tried to make him. He was
I think like every kid tried to make him.
Yeah, he was about 12 years old at the time. Yeah,
Dude, that match. That's the match where basically he earned Taker's respect, right?
Yes.
And then kind of got all that squeaky voice stuff going on towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When he kept yelling for Taker or something. I don't remember, but
yeah, because after the match, he's yelling. He's like, Taker.
Yeah, he sounded like he was like 12-year-old kid going through puberty, yelling.
Yeah, and then he like rubbed his head, like said 12-year-old kid going through puberty. Taker came back in and like ruffled his hair up.
Yeah.
Good job, kid.
Good job, sport.
And then what was it he would say? He used to say, I'll make you famous.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Dude, I miss that Taker, man. I wish he would come back.
Yeah. I loved that Taker right there because he came back and he was good, and then he flipped and then he was running around with the WWE Championship. And he would always cut a promo or say something at the end to someone. He says, "Hey, I'll make you famous." How do you come back? What do you come back with that? What do you come back with that?
Right? Like, thanks.
And with talking about great matches and talking about our favorite matches, if I want to start with Garrett with this one. If you had to step in the ring with anyone from, say, WWE, NXT, or AEW, or anyone that you've not stepped in the ring with, who would that person be?
Well, I'm just going to throw it out there because I've been feeling real suicidal in the ring lately. So Jerry Jacobs is on the top of my list right now for 2020 as somebody I want to be in the ring with. And from AEW, I'd say probably Janela or Darby Allin, since EHF has brought back my hardcore roots and drug that back out of me.
Nice.
What about NXT, Garrett? Come on, there's some good talent there.
Oh,
one person.
One for everything, NXT.
I know you got the network.
I do, thanks to somebody giving me the hookup this month. No, I would NXT. I haven't been following it recently. Keith Lee. I like the big guys.
Keith Lee.
Dude.
I think he'd be fun.
Good answer.
I think he'd be fun.
Nice.
I think he'd be fun. And WWE on the main roster. And I don't even remember the last time I watched Raw or SmackDown.
The Viking Raiders. How about that? 2-on-1 handicap match. Come on.
That's too easy. I'll take. You know what? I'll face Sarah Logan. I think that's a fair matchup.
Sarah Logan.
You're really trying to start some beef with the Viking Raiders, huh?
Slide in through the side door on that one. Yeah, I think that's more of a fair fight at this point in my life.
Wow.
No, I really been liking the Fiend.
Yes, the Fiend.
Like I said, I like going up against the big guys. I like a challenge.
Yeah. That's
yeah, you do.
That's awesome.
You are one of the big guys.
Yeah.
What about you? Same question, Solomon. Who would you like to get in the ring with?
Let's see. We'll start with main roster. We'll start with main roster.
Okay.
I'd have to go with Samoa Joe.
Okay.
Definitely Samoa Joe. I mean, dude, the guy moves freaking insane, and he's been around for forever, dude. He's finally on the main roster doing his thing. You know, it's been a long time coming. NXT, dude, that's the tough one because Garrett actually kind of stole my answer there with Keith Lee. The dude's another one too. The guy, you know, the size of the guy and the stuff that he can do is unbelievable.
It is.
Dude, like for real. But you can't forget Adam Cole, baby. Come on.
I actually like to see the Gold Rush versus Kyle O'Reilly for title of who's going to be douchiest.
Oh my God! Yeah, of course, hands down me. Hello.
I want to.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say the chat right now is on fire because you guys got some responses here. Jaden Quick says Sean versus Brett.
Oh my God, F Jaden Quick.
He said
JQ.
Yeah.
He said the Sean versus Brett Iron Man, that was the best. And Missy says yes versus Dre would be great. And Jaden said that he's still waiting for Solomon versus Jaden, LOL. And Missy said that she would like to see that too. And they said, right, LOL. And then Missy just put out hashtag FJQ. So.
Yeah. But Jaden, the real question is, do you really want some of this hardcore smoke, dude? Like, come on, put that title up on the line against the Gold Rush, and let's see what happens. But first, he has to get through Garrett.
He's not the champ anymore. Nightmare took it from him.
Oh, that's right. I guess I've been hit in the head a few times. Jesus.
Hey, he's in the chat talking all this smack, and his best friend.
Man.
So
that's true. That's what happens.
Jaden replied back. He dropped an F-bomb on you guys. He said, "You guys."
Yep. But anyways, Jaden, thanks for interrupting part of my interview of this podcast. Back to the question. Let's get to AEW, okay?
Yes.
AEW, the person that I would love to wrestle with would be, hands down, come on, Le Champion, Chris Jericho.
That's good.
But dude, like, there's so many people on there though. Who's another one? Totally underrated, Frankie Kazarian. Come on, dude. Like, he's been around forever too. He's
Right.
unbelievable for his age as well.
Yeah.
So much.
I just want to point out two things real quick. One, he literally just FJ2, and two, Frankie Kazarian's name for the Spanish Fly is way cooler than Spanish Fly, and everybody needs to start calling it flux capacitor again. All right, I'm just going to throw that out there.
Right.
Flux capacitor sounds way cooler than Spanish Fly. I'm sorry.
Now, with talking about who'd like to step in the ring with in the promotions that has been mentioned, now current wrestling, what's been going on with current wrestling and how it is right now, because I know we talked about some great matches and some great veterans and great legends in the ring. Now, your thoughts on the current state of wrestling. I want to start with you, Solomon, and then Garrett, you can follow up after. What are your thoughts on the current state of wrestling right now?
I mean, right now, wrestling, I mean, dude, it's probably better than it's ever been, as far as how many places there are to work now. I mean, if you're talking big stage stuff, I mean, you got WWE, of course, NXT, NWA is back. You got Major League Wrestling, all kinds of stuff right now. So, I mean, that alone right there is pretty freaking awesome. Not to mention the whole indie scene is just insane right now. Like, dude, everyone's picking up indie guys, you know?
Mm-hmm.
As far as product, I mean, it's kind of the same with WWE right now. I mean, it's the same old stuff, but I mean, NXT is real hot. AEW is the new guy in town, which is really hot right now. NWA, I don't know if you guys have caught any of that lately. That's pretty sweet. So, I'm digging it. I'm digging it right now. So
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll second most of that. I am actually digging NWA's set design.
Sweet.
If nothing else, I could care less how derivative it'll come off. I am waiting for an indie company, like a lower level indie company, to try to duplicate it because it looks awesome.
Dude, yeah, it's amazing.
I love wrestling right now. I haven't had this much fun. I haven't been watching it as much, to be honest. I've been busy doing it, and I find it the more my schedule's filled doing it, the less time I feel like spending watching it.
Right.
I don't know why that is. But like Solomon said, I mean, the indies at all levels are blowing up, to the point that some areas are starting to get oversaturated.
Mm-hmm.
And while that's a bad thing, I look at it as also a good thing that many people are doing things in the business
at
all levels.
Right. It's amazing right now. What I love about wrestling right now, I mean, I grew up with the WWE with Hogan in the 80s. I watched WCW I went back and forth, watched WCW as a kid, watching Sting, Flair, Dusty Rhodes, the Steiner Brothers, Road Warriors, and just watching that. And in the 90s, the Attitude Era, I remember that like it was like yesterday with the Attitude Era and the Monday Night Wars with Nitro, and just going through that. There for a while, I didn't, from 2007 till about 2013, I didn't watch no wrestling because a lot of stuff was going on in my life. But then I did go back and watch things here and there and see what was going on. But with current wrestling right now, there's so much, like I agree, the indie scenes, there's so much great talent right now with a lot of indie promotions that's out there and just putting on great matches and just putting on great shows. And there's stuff out there to look for. There definitely is. And then like
to the point that guys are getting career resurgences. Look at PCO and Ring of Honor. Or,
dude, perfect example right there.
Or the Sheik in MLW, former NWA World Champion, runs PCW Ultra out in LA, and now he's helping pop MLW.
Right. It's great. It's great. Yeah, I agree with you. A lot of people's getting resurgence in their in on the indie scene, and it's hot. It's hot right now. And then on TV, I mean, like especially Wednesday nights, you got AEW and you got NXT. And I liked what CM Punk said at StarCast a few months ago. He's like, don't just watch one, watch them both. You can watch it all. And I agree, because I do watch it all. I go back and forth, watch NXT, AEW. I go when that's on Wednesday nights. I go back and forth. I'm flipping through the channels. I'm like, God dang. I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, this is just reminds me of how I was as a teenager in the 90s watching the Attitude Era. Watch
100%.
Yeah.
The same exact way.
Yeah, first hour, watch Nitro. Then 9 o'clock, flip it over, back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
It
is a great time to be a wrestling fan and a wrestler.
Totally.
Very much, yeah.
But let me get back to Punk.
Mm-hmm.
You guys think he'll come back?
Who?
CM Punk?
Oh. I mean...
You don't...
does it matter?
I think he's going to come back.
Does it matter?
Come on.
I'm
Absolutely.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm loyal to a fault. I was a Colt Cabana fan before I was a CM Punk fan.
Now I'm starting to see why we argue a lot, Garrett. Really starting to see it.
I saw Colt Cabana before I saw CM Punk.
Fair enough.
I was introduced to him separately. I don't know how that happened, since at that point in their career they were essentially chained to each other. But somebody showed. I think it was the Chikara thing when he did the furry match. His Colt Cabana.
But I think he'll come back.
You think he'll come back, Solomon?
I think it's going to take some work, but I mean, come on, like he's coming back.
Yeah, I think that honestly, eventually he will come back. They will, because everyone comes back. Look how long it took Bret Hart to come back to WWE. Look how long it took him to come back.
Warrior too.
Yeah, Warrior. It took a long time.
I just said this to my fiance yesterday. If he doesn't come back, he'd be one of 3 people in history to not go back and do business with Vince.
Right.
Like I'd like to consider myself a fairly decent historian of like parts of the business, and I'm almost positive the only 2 people Vince has never done business with twice is Savage and Ole Anderson.
Yeah.
Savage, nobody knows why. Everybody knows why with Ole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The way I look at
Punk,
go ahead.
I was going to say, so if Punk doesn't come back, he would be in very rarefied company. But I don't think I don't think it'll make much of a difference if he does or if he doesn't, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good for you, Garrett. I'm glad that's how you feel.
I feel that Punk has that one thing that he wanted to do. If you look at everything that he did when he was in his career, and even when he was in WWE, everything he did in WWE, the one thing that he wanted to do that he never got to do was main event a WrestleMania. I think if that happened where he can main event a WrestleMania with the title on the line, the WWE title, I think he would do it. But it would take some convincing. Would I be like shocked if he came back? I mean, no, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, right now he's working for Fox, covering WWE, a company he used to work for, and being an insider and and giving statistics and his opinion on stuff. And I wouldn't be shocked.
Talking a lot of crap too, which is great.
Yeah, it's that reality. That's what I like about Punk. He don't hold back. Love him or hate the guy, he don't hold back.
I think that's why Garrett doesn't like him.
Oh no, I've been a huge fan of CM Punk's work throughout his career. I remember watching the 1.5-hour matches with Chris Hero in IWA on giving my computer age trying to find them on LimeWire back in the day. So right. So it's not that. I just think at this point, he's alienated too many fans. He's too old. He got way too beat up in UFC to come back and look credible when you have Cain Velasquez, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Brock Lesnar, Chad Gable, legit shooters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole different game.
That's where I'm looking at. Like if you put him in there with Chad Gable, I'm like, well, Chad Gable could just tie him up as like a pretzel because I saw an 0-0 schmuck do that, and Chad Gable went to the.
You mean Shorty Gable now?
Shorty G.
I refuse to call it. Dude,
that is horrible.
Yeah, bad creative.
Dude, that is so bad.
That is
such good shit. That is such good shit. I'd like to think that's the phrase used when somebody approached him with that idea.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such good shit.
He's short. Let's call him Shorty Gable.
That's Vince. That's Vince McMahon right there, man. That is Vince McMahon right there, because he finds that one thing and he hones in on it. I mean, if you listen to the John Moxley when he was on Jericho's podcast, when he was talking about his last days in WWE, and he had him change the script. He's like, get rid of poop, because Vince is going to see that.
Yeah.
I just loved it. One of my favorite interviews.
I'm going to start taking the Taker approach when we get booked places, bro. I'm going to tell them you can sing.
Well, I mean, I can, but
really?
Wanna? Probably not.
Nice. I was just doing it to put you on the spot places.
No, I mean, dude, do you think I really want to sing for all these people and let them know that I have the voice of an angel, the voice of Jesus? Probably not. They don't deserve that. Come on, Garrett. Got to pay top dollar for this voice.
An hour plus podcast with Stone Cold and Undertaker. That was my big takeaway. He told Vince he could sing when he panicked.
Right.
Undertaker panicked and said, I can sing.
Right. That was actually really good. Dude, I watched that entire thing. That was actually really good.
I did too.
I did too.
It was really good. But right now, that's the thing that sticks out in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Is that he panicked and was like, I can sing.
Yeah. What I liked about that interview there was when his contract came up in WCW when he was there, and was it Jim Crockett told him, he says, you're not a draw, no one's going to pay you to ever see you wrestle. Boy, was he wrong, man.
Right?
Was he wrong?
Completely wrong.
Jeez, I couldn't believe that. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? And I liked how when when Steve asked him, who did you ask and talk to for advice and stuff, and he said Jake Roberts. I was like, bingo. That right there made a lot of sense. I was like, that right there. That made everything as like the psychology of what it just made sense, man. Just great psychologist in the ring.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the best promos ever.
Yes. The chat right now is still on fire here. I want to say that.
Tell Jaden Quick to get a life.
Well,
isn't it past his bedtime?
I do want to say this.
Put all 56 of his kids to bed.
I do want to say I do want to thank everyone for tuning
Seriously,
in.
in all seriousness, we do. I love you, Jaden. 56 kids and all. I love you.
He's a swell guy.
I do want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight here on the Everett Lee Show here, and with the Gold Rush Solomon Stone and the modern day shaman Garrett Adams. And I do want to thank for the feedback in the chat I'm looking at right here. I love what everyone's saying and what everyone is talking about here. Tim says sing something, and something Disney, and Missy said sing me happy birthday this weekend, LOL.
I hope you have at least $150 for at least 2 minutes of that singing.
$150 for happy birthday.
That's my going rate.
You better do it like Marilyn Monroe, dude. She takes our pictures.
me. Yeah, let me get ready. Hold on.
No, she said this
we'll
weekend.
Pay it for another time.
This weekend.
All right.
This weekend.
Maybe I'll consider
it. Now, speaking of this weekend, or actually just here whenever here in the next few weeks, or what I'm getting at is what upcoming events do you guys have going on? I'll start with you, Garrett. What do you have upcoming events you have, and then follow up with it, Solomon?
Well, Saturday I will be at EHF challenging Celtic Nightmare for the EHF Hardcore Championship and at Overtime Sports Bar in Elkhart, Indiana. And then the following Saturday, I will be at GLWA at Top Notch Physiques in Coloma, Michigan, with my partner Solomon Stone, defending the GLWA Tag Team Championships against, I believe, Epic Love, Cody Love and Trayvon. What's his name? Trayvon. Who cares? They're green. Just kidding, kiddos. Epic Love is an amazing up and coming talented tag team, and it'll be a pleasure to feed some knowledge into them kids. You got anything else, Solomon, coming up?
I mean, ditto to that. I mean, me and you are on both upcoming shows, so really that's all I have for now until we start off with the new year.
Nice. I got the promo up here for the EHF Jingle Brawl the way, and looks pretty good.
I would be remiss if I didn't hype and plug New Breed Wrestling's Diesel Power Lounge shows. The first one's New Year's New Beginnings, January 17th, and after that, it's the third Friday of every month at the Diesel Sports Lounge in New Baltimore, Michigan, just outside of Detroit.
Ooh, and guess who will be making his official long-awaited debut?
Go figure.
The Gold Rush Solomon Stone, of course.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one, though. Like, it's been a long time coming for that.
Absolutely. We were actually supposed to debut there together, and that was one of the places that KBR Replacement Tag Team partner that actually fit in so well. Like, he's part of the group now.
So basically what Garrett's saying, that he turned me into Crush from Demolition, the third man. Yeah. Wasn't too happy about
it. Wow. That's great. I'm excited for what you guys have going, coming up here, and then going into 2020, what you guys got going on. I want to start with you, Solomon, and then Garrett follow up. Anything you'd like to say to anyone before we end this podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, I would like to plug myself. You can find me on Facebook at The Gold Rush 83, Instagram Solomon Stone 22, and Twitter Jim Tan Wrestling. And I also want to give a shout out to the one and only the Captain Aranova. You rest up, get well soon, and come back quick, because I'm coming down to Florida to kick your ass. That's all I got.
All right.
You can follow me on Facebook at Garrett Adams, because I am horrible at keeping up to date on my Modern Day Shaman page. But on the Garrett Adams page, you get wrestling and some of the best memes on Facebook. I can also be found on Instagram at Modern Day Shaman 420. And I want to second Solomon's shout out to our good friend Captain Aaron Nova. I won't be coming to kick your ass. I'll be coming to save it.
Ooh, I like that.
All right.
That's the galaxy's ass.
Nice. I love it, man. I love it. And since we're plugging social media before we close, I do want to plug Podcast City Network, your official host for top source for independent podcasting. You can follow them on podcastcity.net, such as the Everett Lee Show, Final Score, Chris Carnage Show, Wrestle Popcast, Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast, Super Raider Brothers, Imaginarium, and much, much more over on Podcast City Network, over on podcastcity.net. Hit them up on Facebook, Podcast City Network, Twitter, at Podcast City Net, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for video podcasts, such as the Everett Lee Show, over on their YouTube channel, Podcast City Network. And you can follow more Everett Lee right here on this page, the Everett Lee Show. And send me a tweet on Twitter at the Everett Lore Score Lee. Instagram, Everett Lee Show. And then my audio portions can be found on my YouTube channel, Everett Lee Show, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and Podbeam. So download those apps and hear audio portions of the Everett Lee Show. And that is it for the Everett Lee Show. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight and listening to the Everett Lee Show. Everett Lee signing off. Have a good night. And gentlemen, thanks for coming on and chatting with me.
Well, thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
Absolutely.
You're welcome. I will see everyone Thursday for Slammin' Thursday edition with the Chris Rose. So check it out, everyone. We'll see you then. Have a good night.